A very good afternoon, dear students. I hope you all are safe at your place. I, Professor Sonal Agrawal, welcome you all on the digital platform of Agrawal Vidya Vihar English Medium College. This is the lecture for the subject Banking Law and Practice Paper 2. In the last lecture, we have started with the chapter number 1, that is the employment of bank funds. What we did in the last lecture, I just want to brief out in short that in the last lecture we have started with the topic that is the sources of banks funds. Here we have completed this topic in the last lecture. What do you mean by this? That from where the banks are getting the funds. So we have discussed about that the sources of banks fund are bifurcated mainly into the two categories. First one is about the bankers' own funds and the second is the borrowed funds. Then we have discussed this classification in details. That first one is the banker's own fund is further classified into the three categories, that is the paid up capital, reserve fund and the portion of undistributed profit. After that we have discussed the second point about the borrowed fund. That borrowed fund is again further bifurcated into the three categories, that is the public deposit. As you all know that the public deposit is the main source of funds for any bank. At least 80 to 90 percentage of the total fund is made out of this public deposit. And the second is the borrowing from other institutions. It may be other banks, it may be other financial institutions, UTI, it may be from RBI borrowing. Clear? So many other sources are there. And the last one is about the other sources of banks fund, in that we have discussed about the bonds and debentures and all. Clear? So these all things we have covered in the last lecture, that from where banks are going to get the funds. Now the second question arises that after getting the funds, where the banks are using that funds. Yeah. So we are not discussing about the investment objects of the banks here. We are discussing about some of the forms or some of the types of advances that are given to the customer. Here, as we all are the customer of the bank. So if we are having an account with the bank, or if even though we are not having an account of the bank, so there are some types of advances, or you can say some types of you can say the forms of advances are there that we can get from the bank in case of need. So these advances are bifurcated into the four categories. First is the cash credit, second is the overdraft, third is the loan, and the last fourth is the discounting of bills. Here, you all are very much familiar with the second and third point, that is the overdraft facility and the loan facility. Some of you are also familiar with the cash credit facilities and discounting of bills facilities here. But the second and third point are very familiar with you because as a public, general public, all are using this types of facilities from the bank. So this is a very practical topic actually. Here, forms of advances and types of advances. It is a very practical topic. Just what I want to say that if meaning is clear, we all are using these facilities in day-to-day life. So nothing is much to discuss in this topic. Here, it is a very practical topic. So starting with the detailed discussion of this topic, so start with the first one, that is the cash credit. So the question arises that what do you mean by cash credit? As I already said that some of you may be familiar with this concept and some of you may not be familiar with this concept here. So this is the necessity of the time or the topic that we have to discuss in details. Okay? So whatever sentence written on the screen, just read it once. I hope it is done. Okay. Just I am breaking the paragraph into the sentences so it will be better to you to understand the topic. The first thing, the cash credit is one type of advance made by the banks to its borrowers. Here, first thing, it is a type of advance made by the banks to the customer of the bank. By granting this facility, banks allow the borrowers to withdraw the money up to a certain fixed amount sanctioned by a bank. So the second situation is that the second feature you can say that the customer can borrow the money under a certain limit. The third thing is that the certain securities and the guarantees are to be provided by the borrower as per the bank's rule. The third feature is that you can say that it is not for unsecured advance, you have to give certain securities or you have to give the guarantees to the banker. Then and it is to be renewed every year. So the next feature you can derive that it is for 1 year only. Every year you have to renew as specified at the time of the granting the facilities. And if the borrower fails to repay the amount, the bank can take the action as per the rules and regulation of the fixture according to the terms and condition of the bank. So if you are unable to pay the loan amount, then the banker can exercise the right of lion, and the banker can exercise the other lions or the other rules according to the contract at the time of taking the policy which is fixed. So this is all about the basic features, or you can say about the cash credit here. So if you read this paragraph in detail by concentrating on the certain conditions, so you can derive the features also. So first thing that it is for a I just want to make your clearance about the features that it is for a business purpose. Suppose a person has started a business and the person wants to take the loan because in the starting year of the business, so there is a condition that the person has to maintain the working capital also, and the person require the some of the loan also from the bank, but the customer is not having any security kept with the bank. In that situation, what this businessman can do, the businessman can take the loan amount on the security of the stock. Here are the raw material which he is having or share that she is having. So here the person is entitled to get the loan amount on the security of stock, which is the tangible asset. So you cannot take the on the basis of intangible assets. So here the security is required, and what the bank is going to do. Suppose you all are familiar with the loan. Here, so this is a type of loan you can say. It is something similar to the loan. In loan, you all are know that the loan account is going to open. Same thing is here. If you have taken a cash credit, then the cash credit account is going to be open with the name of the customer. The second thing, here suppose the person requires a cash credit of 10 lakh rupees. So the cash credit account will be open with the name of the customer, and the 10 lakh rupees will be deposited in that account. But the customer has not to pay the interest rate on the 10 lakh rupees. Suppose the customer has withdrawn just the 5 lakh rupees to use. In that situation, the customer has to pay the interest amount on that 5 lakh rupees only. So here this is the main advantage is that you have to pay the amount on what amount is actually used by you. You are not to pay the interest on the full amount. So this is one of the main advantages. And second is you can withdraw as per your wish. It is not to compulsory that you have to withdraw the full amount 10 lakh rupees. You can withdraw as per the need of your business. 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees. So many withdrawals are available as per the limit, and you have to pay the interest whenever the amount is going to be withdrawn by you. So this is the main advantages to the businessman. So this types of facility is generally used by the businessmen here because they don't know when they require money and what amount they will require. So just to make the surety about the cash flow in the business, so they are going to take these types of facilities. If the cash is not going to be used by them, then no need to pay the interest. But in case of need, they can withdraw the amount as per the wish. So these types of facilities is generally useful for the business purpose. So we all are as a general public are not using these types of facilities. That's why you all are not familiar with these types of accounts. But even if your family member of or any relative has these types of account, then you may be familiar with the facilities. Then now we are going to discuss that what are the features of the cash credit account. As I already told that it is for a short time period here, we have discussed in the first slide of the cash credit that you have to renew every year. So this by this line you can say that it is for a short-term time period, means shorter time period means it is for a 1 year only. Every year if you want to continue this cash credit account, so you have to renew the cash credit account. The second is it is usually for the commercial industrial concern, as I already discussed that it is useful for the business purpose only. Why? Because in business, what amount you require and when you require it is not sure. You can predict a certain limit, but that prediction cannot be exact. Clear? So that's why just you want to do the arrangement of the cash. That's why you will go for a cash credit account. But this is usually not useful for the general public. This is useful for the business concern. Then next feature is the banks are allowed to borrow in the form of installment or in the lump sum. As I already told that the account will be opened with the name of the customer and the amount will be deposited in that account. but the customer can borrow as per the need of the business. Yeah, it is not it's necessary that the customer has to borrow at once only. The customer can borrow in installment as per the need arise in the business. Here, suppose the same example, the first need of the 1 lakh rupees, then the customer will borrow the 1 lakh, then 2 lakh, then 3 lakh, then 50,000, 20,000, as per the need of the business. Here, whatever amount he required under the limit of the 10 lakh rupees, which is asked him as the cash credit limit. So under this limit, which is given by bank to the customer, under that limit, the customer can borrow the fund in the form of installment or in the lump sum also as per the need of the bank. Here, both the facilities are available. So as per the wish of the business person, he can borrow the amount, and whatever amount will be withdrawn by that person, on that actual amount only the person has to pay the interest. Yeah. Suppose the same example I am taking, the customer has asked for the cash credit account of 10 lakh rupees, but actually he has used just the 5 lakh rupees. So the person has to pay the amount on 5 lakh rupees only. And it is the pledgeable securities. It is compulsory that you must be having and securities. Here, place here, place word is there, and we are going to discuss this meaning of this place word on the next chapter, that is the charges. But just I want to brief out in short that what do you mean by place. So place, you can say whenever you kept your tangible asset as a security with the banker, that is known as the place, with the condition that the security of that so we can say the security of that property is the with the banker. But here you are the business person, that's why the security is with the business purpose only, with the businessman only. But the condition is that suppose you have taken a loan, same example of 10 lakh rupees, so it is compulsory that you must be at least having the same stock in your godown, the same value of stock. So that your stock you have to maintain with you. You cannot sell that stock to the customer because you have kept your stock as a security. So that's why compulsorily you have to maintain a certain limit of stock in your godown. So you must be having a pledgeable security. If you are a business person, then you can take the cash credit loan on the security of your business goods. Then interest only on the amount which is actually utilized by the borrower. Here, as I already discussed, that whatever amount is actually withdrawn from the cash credit account, on that amount only the person has to pay the interest. The person should not be have to pay the interest on the full amount of the cash credit limit. So the same example, the 10 lakh and 5 lakh, here the customer has to pay the interest on the 5 lakh rupees only, not on the 10 lakh rupees. So that this is the main advantages of the cash credit account. So that's why it is very useful for the business person. I hope the features are clear to you. The second is that we are going to discuss about the overdraft. And this is a very much common topic. We all are familiar with this facility of overdraft facility, which is given by the banker to the customer. Here the meaning is written of the overdraft. Just read it once. Done? Okay. Overdraft is an amount withdrawn in excess of the one's credit balance, or you can say in simple words that if you withdraw an excess amount comparison to the available balance in your account, that excess amount is known as the overdraft, which usually is a permitted on prior arrangement. Here arrangement must be done priorly with the banker that everyone is knowing the overdraft limit of the account. Here it is not for unlimited account. The bank by the banker up to a certain limit. If you are having these types of facilities, if you are enjoying these types of facilities, so you must be having the knowledge that for what limit it is permitted by the bank to you. Here, it is not for unlimited account. The prior arrangement is made between the banker and customer, and under that limit only the customer can withdraw the excess amount. Here. So that excess amount is known as the overdraft. Generally, this type of facility is available only and only on the current account for the businessmen. But nowadays, modern banking So if your credit reputation is too good with the banks, then sometimes this overdraft facility is also available on savings account. But again, I'm repeating, if your credit reputation is so good, you are in the personal touch with the banker, the banker knows you personally about your credit reputations, then only sometimes it is available. It is not available on all of the savings accounts. So you cannot claim that in my savings account the overdraft facility is not available. As I already told, because of the modern banking, some additional facilities are given by the bank to the customer. So on some of the accounts it is available, not only all the savings accounts, but yes, it is available on all the current accounts. Then this question asks that when these types of situation arise, so these types of situation arise when a person, for an example, writes the check which the total more than the available balance in their account. Suppose, for an example, you can see on the screen that the person or here the drawer has written a check of $1,000, but in his account he is actually having the balance of $900 only. So the $100 which is excess written on the check, so that $100 is known as the overdraft. Why? Because available balance is just the $900 and he has got the check of $1,000. So that's why the $100 is known as the overdraft. So if the person has wrote the check of more amount comparison to the available balance, in that situation the need of the overdraft is arise. If the overdraft facility is not available for that particular limit, in that situation the banker can reject the check written by the customer. So now let's discuss about some of the features of the overdraft. It is very simple to understand. Account generally opened by the business people for the convenience. Why? Because any number of time you can withdraw, any number of time you can deposit. So here overdraft facility is available. So this is mostly useful for the business purpose. Why? Because their interest is just to deal with the banking facilities. Their interest is not to earn the rate of interest which is given on the bank account. Here interest is not the purpose. Safety of the fund with the help of banking facility is the objective. So that's why this is usually opened by the business purpose. Money can be withdrawn and deposited at any number of times at any time on the day, but with the help of the banking facilities, you can use these facilities under the banking hours. Yes, but if you are using any card facilities or e-banking facilities, then it is available 24 by 7. And withdrawal is possible by the means of check only. Here you can withdraw the money by using the check facilities only. Banker generally does not allow any interest on these types of account, or you can say that sometimes again the same rule. According to the rule, no need to pay the interest. By, as you all know, that the number of banks and number of branches are increasing in the market. More competitions are there between the bankers, so the minor interest is given sometimes on the current account. Then the next is two basic privileges which customers can enjoy. The first one is about the overdraft facilities. Yes, of course, if you are having a current account, so you can enjoy the privilege of the overdraft facility, which is not available on other types of accounts. And other facilities like collection of checks and transfer of money, rendering agency services, and the general utility services. This type of other facilities are available on the current account. Why? Because this type of account is, again I'm repeating the same thing, that this is open for a business purpose, and that's why the banker is going to provide these types of facilities. But again, this is not free of cost. Of course, you have to charge. You have to pay the charges. So this is all about the features of the overdraft. Now we have discussed the two topics, that is the cash credit and overdraft. So there is a need arise that to discuss the difference between the overdraft and cash credit. So first difference is about the meaning, about the cash credit and overdraft. That cash credit, it is a short-term loan provided to the companies to fulfill their working capital requirements. So here you can see the cash credit account is the cash credit facility is also used by the business purpose, and overdraft facility is also used for the business purpose. So what is the main difference between these two? That it is a short-term loan, you can see here, for the maintenance of the working capital requirement. And the second, overdraft is facility is provided to the companies to withdraw in excess their balance here. So this is the main difference between these two. Securities, of course, in case of overdraft, you have to place or hypothecate the securities, and we are going to discuss the meaning of place and hypothecation in later on. But just I want to give you out the meaning in short, that what do you mean by place and hypothecation? This is all. These both are the types of loan. Here, whenever you kept your asset as a security with the bank, so these types of terminologies arise here. So if whenever you kept your asset as a security, asset means here the tangible assets. Yeah? Whenever you kept your tangible asset as a security, and the possession of that security is with the banker, then you have to use the word place. And if the possession of that security is with the customer, with the businessman, then you have to use the word hypothecation. Here in the cash credit, generally it is hypothecated by because the stock of the goods are in the possession of the businessman. So here, of course, you must be having the security. Here, the security, as I told, the goods. Goods are means the current assets of the business. So generally, you must be having the current assets to keep as a security. But in overdraft, in some of the cases, if party does not, a party is not of sound reputation, then this is required to keep the asset as a security. Here, the assets are generally the fixed assets. But sometimes under the minor limitations or for a slightly amount, the if it is not a bigger amount, then overdraft can be permitted as an unsecured advance also. So you can write that. In cash credit, security is compulsory, and in overdraft, security is not compulsory. It is also an unsecured loan. So the next point of difference is about the interest. Cash credit here only the amount which is actually utilized by the customer or by the borrower. On that amount, we have to use the interest rate. The same example, 10 lakh and 5 lakh. I hope you remember that example. That if 5 lakh is used by the person actually, then they have to pay the interest on 5 lakh rupees only, not on the 10 lakh rupees. But in case of overdraft, interest must be given on the daily basis. If you have the same example, I'm taking of that $100. That $100 is the amount of the overdraft. So till you are not paying that amount on the daily basis, the interest is going to charge on that $100. Whether you are using that $100 or not. If you have withdrawn excess, then you have to pay the interest on daily basis. Then next point of difference is about the demand. Then of course cash credit can demand it at any point of time, and overdraft it is a right of the person to call the money and let it for a short notice. Of course it is very clear to you all. The next point of difference is about the requirements. When the person is required the cash credit, one state to open a separate cash credit account to avail this offer. As I already told you, as you've taken a loan, in that situation loan account is going to open the same year. If you have taken a cash credit, then the separate cash credit account is open with the name of the customer. But in case of overdraft, no need to open a separate account. You can avail these types of facilities on your existing current account. Here, no need to open a separate account. But here, in case of cash credit, the cash credit account, or you can say the new account is going to be open. The next point of difference is about the end use. So cash credit, this is only for the business operations, and overdraft facility can be used for any purpose. You are accessing in you are withdrawing in excess here, and whatever this excess amount is not going to ask by the banker to you. You can use that amount for your personal purpose also, for your business purpose also. Here, so it can be for any purpose, for personal reason or for business reason. But cash credit is compulsory for business reasons only. The person cannot use that amount for personal reasons. Then the length, or you can say the time period of the account, the cash credit is generally for 1 year. Here, every year you have to renew if you want to continue this types of account. But overdraft is generally for a very shorter period. Generally, it is for a week. Here, a month is again a longer time period. Generally, it is for a week, but sometimes it is for more than a week also. So the maximum time period you can say it is 1 month or for 1 week. Yeah, and cash credit is for a 1 year. So length is more in case of cash credit comparison to the overdraft facilities. Every year you have to renew your cash credit account. So these all are the basic difference. Whatever we discussed till now, just it is presented in a tabular form. Otherwise, we have discussed all the things in our discussion of the cash credit and overdraft facilities. Again, I am repeating these two are the very practical topics. So that's why it is very clear to you. Some of the words are new for you, like phase and hypothecation. So I'll explain the meaning of these words to you. And if you know the meaning of these all the words and terminologies, then it is very simple. Why? Because this is a practical topic for you. And again, what I just want to brief out that what we did in the previous lecture. In this lecture, we have started the topic that is the forms or the types of advances. Here, there are 4 types of advances: cash credit, overdraft, loan, and discounting of bills. First 2 advances we have covered in today's lecture, that is the cash credit and overdraft. We have discussed the meaning of the cash credit, then we have discussed the features of the cash credit account. After that, we have discussed the meaning of the overdraft, and then we discussed the one of the example of the overdraft, and then we discussed the features of the overdraft. After that, we discussed the difference between the overdraft and cash credit facilities. Yeah, the next is this is all from the next lecture. We are going to start with the topic that is the loan. Yeah, so the next two topics for these forms of advances or the types of advances we are going to discuss in the next lecture. One more thing for you, I just want to discuss that you may receive the information about the admission. Yeah, so just got the admission. Why? Because it is compulsory according to the rules. Just got the admission in the next year. You as you receive the information in your Google Classroom. Now the next topic we are going to continue in the next lecture. Till then, stay home, stay safe, start learning. As you all know that soon we are planning for the assignments. You just start learning. If you are having any doubt, so I am planning for a live lecture also. So after a certain point of time, it may be after completion of this topic or this chapter, I will plan our live lecture for you. Just start reading, so you can ask your doubt in that lecture. You just start reading. Now we are going to meet in the next lecture. Have a good day. Thank you.